All right, so I'm gonna start the recording now, pretty much. So what we're gonna do is, I guess we'll just go down the list of weekly watchers, and then just like that, bro. So if I bring up one that you don't like, that'll be perfect, and we kind of just go back and forth.
All right.
So all right, let's do it, dude. So I'm gonna do like maybe a quick intro, I guess. I'll try to,
Yeah.
and then we'll kind of just jump in, dude.
Should
All
I
right.
you say Strati, by the way. I think you say
My
Strati.
Yeah, bro. My bad, dude. I know I butcher your shit up so bad, dude.
Mad names, bro.
Cause you have like fucking three different. I don't even. You got Strati. I couldn't figure out where it was coming
No.
from.
Well, when I first did all that, it was like just because I tried to keep my name like fake or private on like social media, so people
Oh, I
don't,
get you,
hackers don't come after you and shit. It's like nobody knows the big Greek name. It's like the
bro. The hacking shit is unreal nowadays. It's fucking crazy.
exactly.
All right, so let's get it started. What's going on, guys? I am Stock Sniper Mike with my man Sniper Strati. Got that one correctly this time. That is the listed sniper you guys are seeing over there. We've been doing some work. We've been in the lab, and today we're going to be going over the list of stocks we're looking for in the upcoming week. Now, when we bring up these stocks, we're not telling you to go out and buy all the stocks that we're talking about. The goal is for you to keep an eye, maybe make a daily watch list or a weekly watch list, put all these stocks on there and create alerts at key resistance spots that we're going to talk about and key support spots, so that you can keep an eye from these stocks and maybe they can make us some money in the upcoming week. The past 2 weeks have been very hot. We actually had winners from both our weekly watchers list the past 2 weeks. We had MJNA from our weekly watchers list, and then we also had MULN 2 weeks ago. So very, very nice bags that have been coming from this weekly watchers list. And let's see if we can make one again today. We'll put in our 2 cents of what we think of it. And then you guys obviously still have to execute and do your own job throughout the week. But let's get this thing started. We'll talk about, I think I'll go over OTC stocks first, just because that's always the bread and butter and where we make most of our money from. But we'll dive into listed to finish it off, because our biggest bag last week was one of these listed stocks. Now, before we dive into the weekly watchers, this is a huge, huge week in the upcoming market. Just want to highlight what's going to happen in the upcoming week. We actually have earnings for a lot of big companies, Meta, Google, Microsoft. So huge companies are going to be reporting earnings. That's going to probably sway the market, as well as a meeting on Wednesday. We actually have the Fed that's going to meet up and decide if they want to raise the interest rates one more time. So Strati's actually going to head to Greece. He's getting the fuck out of the US before we find out if the market's going to crash on us. But yeah, let's dive into the OTC stocks first. So this is a list that I personally created because I actually love the OTC market. Strati, if you got something that you could bring up with OTC stocks, you go ahead. But I know he's eyeing down these as well, because these are ones that we've been looking at the past couple of weeks. But the first one I'm going to dive into is Humble. Humble right here. What I like is the great support and resistance that we got going on. Pretty much we have a huge spike that has happened all the way up to 11. And now we have some sort of range that we're trading in. So I would say between 8 is a key spot. And then if it continues to hold 6.5. Do you like this one, Strati, or not? You eyeing this one down or not?
I'm gonna wait on it
You like
because it wicked. There was one day that I was really focused on for it, and I wanted to see it go, and that was the first green day on July 15th. And then you can see that it wicked big. So that shows me that there's a huge seller that's stuck from the early July run when it went from 5 cents to 11. So it tried to get up there and then stuffed pretty hard. In the last 5 days, it wasn't able to get there. But you can see that it's wicking on the bottom as well. So there's a support in the low sixes. So you can see those wicks getting bought up every day. So ideally, we see a move through 8 without us. And that's because I think it would just take a lot of work and a lot of mental capacity. And then if you can get it through 8 with a lot of volume, that means you're going to go towards 9, 10. And then if we can start holding 8 as support, that 8.6 level, now you're in striking distance of a breakout and you have a lot more volume and a lot less resistance. So this is definitely one you want to keep watching, but that doesn't mean you're just going to buy it. But you just keep an eye to see if you can get through key levels and then hold them as support. So right now, this wouldn't interest me until we're over 8.6 and holding it as support, because then we're in striking distance of a huge breakout. So definitely one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and that 7-9 spot, like he was saying, huge seller. It was like a hidden seller on this big green day. So we really
Right.
need to see it get through that spot before doing anything else. XTM. So this is actually the one we took overnight. So we're gonna have to actually talk about it over the weekend. It's I would say one of the fan favorites, as in one of the brand new ones that recently ran like crazy. So I mean, look at that run up. Obviously, so hard to catch this kind of run up. You're usually not going to be able to catch that run up, but we have been learning that this is just part of that stock cycle. Strati's definitely helped me realize what's going on with that. First part of the cycle is always the pump, and then you got the dip, the big dip part. And with us, we actually almost took advantage of this, but we didn't. I think you actually bought this one, didn't you?
TXTM I bought
You
on
you you took
Friday.
this day to this day. I remember I was on the golf course when this happened.
Which day was that? The
It was
bounce?
like, yeah, it was that bounce day.
Yeah, bro, because it had such a nice run from 2.6 to 1.9. So
Yeah,
triple
and then it came
zeros.
back all the way to 0-0. It was
Yeah,
the breakout spot.
so much volume. It was a key level. It got bought up on the wicks. So you can see those wicks like we just talked about on June 22nd, June 23rd. And that means it's getting bought up. And then you have a stock getting bought up, a recent runner doing a ton of volume. That's the stuff you're looking for because there's going to usually be a bounce while it's still in its cycle. So that was really nice to see.
Yeah, no, that was beautiful. And then we decided to take it on the way backside. So the only thing that makes me a little nervous is this backside Green Day. Yes, it did follow up, but then it came right back down. And now we're playing the second backside Green Day. So that's the only thing that's making me slightly nervous. But what is the bonus about this is we actually profited half of our bag. So we got in at 7-1 to close out the week. Strati was actually able to get in with us. And then he actually sold all of his out at the way end of the day, where we actually were able to get out half of ours right here at 7-8. So we're holding half overnight, looking, or over the weekend, looking to tag the rest of this bag. But I still do feel pretty comfortable with it, especially with half the bag.
Super standard first Green Day OTC, bro. You just swing them and they should get out. If they don't, you just get out. It's whatever.
I love it. Let's go. Let's move on to the next DUTV. So this is one that's a very light volume one. I don't know if Charlie's gonna love this. He's not the light volume lover over there, but the long-term chart looks so good. It looks so good. It looks like it wants to really go. So that's the only reason why I put it on there, guys. These are huge. Something that he's helping me out, open my eyes. Obviously, we all know volume is very important, but he is huge on volume, and I actually need to realize that volume is super important here. So if it doesn't have any wicks like this, we probably aren't going to play it. But this one's just plain and simple 52-week
If it's
breakout.
back into a chart, it's good to at least just have an eye because if the volume does come in, you're there. So it's
Yeah.
whatever.
Or some news. Volume or news usually is able to kind of bring these things up.
It has to
RG
be higher. So
RGBP is the next one that we're going to dive into really quickly. And like I said before, guys, don't just go out and buy all these stocks. The idea is for you to create a watch list to eye these down for potential breakouts. Now, we have alerts set. And if you want to put those alerts at the same spots, it's not a bad idea because these alerts are set there for a reason. The multi-month breakout spot and the key spot that I want to see this break is 006. So let me actually just make this limit down a little bit. But we actually took this overnight on Thursday to Friday. And then unfortunately, we didn't get that follow up we were looking for. But I still like it.
dude, I like it a lot because the volume, it's not amazing overall, but when we talk about volume, the biggest thing I've learned from like my other mentors and stuff is that it just has to be different than what's going on. So the last 2 days stuck out way more than all of July in general. And then there was a couple days at the end of June that stuck out way more than the rest of June. And then there's a couple days in May that stuck out the rest of May. So someone is buying this abnormally. It doesn't mean you just go and buy it, but you do know that there is a buyer there. So there's a nice first green day on July 21st, which is what we tried to swing, and we didn't get it. But you can either still make a little profit on it or just get out for very
Yeah,
small
you're right.
losses. And then it sets a multi-day level at 5.9. So now you have a breakout at 6. You have somebody buying it up. There's wicks. All you're missing is that one fat green candle to 7, 8, 9, dude. And I think it's coming. So we'll see. But it could be in a week. It could never happen. You could be wrong. The point is, if it were to happen, we're right pretty big. Or if we're wrong very small. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on for a
I like
breakout.
that. Yeah, and that's a great point, guys. Is really staying cut with your losses. like we took a scratch here and we ended up losing a little bit, but if it does make that curl, we're going to come right back for it. And if we do end up buying it, we're probably going to make our money back and a lot more on it. So that's really what point. Don't give up if the thing doesn't work out for you the first time.
Yeah. Especially if it's still intact in general. Maybe in the short term, no, but if the idea is still there, just keep an eye. Just throw it somewhere.
Yeah, we'll be watching it. And then the last OTC, oh, I got two more OTC stocks to finish it off with. Then we'll jump into the listed land. Is HIRU. And HIRU, I only like this one is because they are one of the most active people on Twitter. They're like the pumper dumper ones. And I love people that are pumping and dumping. Usually when they are active on Twitter, they're able to run. Now, this isn't the cleanest looking long-term chart, but if you do look at these green days, a lot of the green days are able to follow up. I mean, they're not the best follow-up days, but with sub-penny stocks, you can make some money if you're following up 15%. That's usually good enough for us. So I would say if this could get back above this key resistance spot that it came right up to end the week, it might be able to make a little run next week. So that's kind of why I put it on here. Nothing too crazy. This one's definitely one that I would say is just one that I Twitter eye down. And then the last one we got here is IFXY. And IFXY, I personally have always brought up try not to play 4 straight green days in a row. But something that Strati has helped me out, open my eyes with, is that 15-day, 15-minute chart. And if it looks good on that, I mean, this one actually doesn't look too bad. It's kind of creeping up, and now it's kind of creating some sort of support up here. And the next level up, if it can continue to hold, is that 52-week high, or not 52-week, that 6-month high spot, which is right coming up 0065. So there's a lot of wicks there, but I do kind of like what's setting up. I would rather it settle though first before breaking out.
Yeah, it's too straight up.
Exactly. So I would think maybe if it settles all week, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we maybe luckily get a couple even days, hold 5, and then break out. That would be the ideal situation. But yeah, now let's dip into some listed stuff, dude. And I mean, this is more your realm. So maybe if you want to kind of start it up, I'll start off HTGM because that's one that I put on the list. But he's actually not the biggest fan of it. The only reason why I threw it on there was because last week we actually played FFIE and it had this crazy spike up and then this crazy spike down. HTGM I thought was similar, but he's actually opened my eyes up to say it's not as similar because of the multiple green days. But I still do like the downtrend it's creating. And I honestly think if it could downtrend one more day, like a big drop, or like, at least back down to 70, that's doable to start looking at again.
For sure. Yeah. The one list I really got my eye on is XELA. So
wow. XELA.
That thing, you can see the wicks developing. So you really have to be able to just see things coming along not way before they happen, but you just have to have an idea. So the way you can do that is by finding wicks on a daily chart. So you can see on every single day that this thing dips and is weak and then gets bought up at some point. So all these wicks show that there is a huge buyer in the tape. But then if you look at July 21st, there was a big seller too. Like it tried to pop back to that breakout level and got stuck. So that's kind of the spot that we want to keep an eye on. If the stock continues to get bought up and then we're testing that 16.4 high, there's no reason you can't get back to 18. And the biggest thing that people need to see with this one is the volume. So the volume is the biggest part. Look at the volume it's done in July of 2022 compared to literally the last 2 years. So there hasn't been volume like this since actually July of last year, which is perfect. So I don't know if it's a July runner or what, but there could be a
wow, that is random, dude.
So the biggest thing with
the stock was at $5.
Yeah, the biggest thing with listed stocks is when you think they're done, they're just never done. So everyone's going to forget about this one. It ran last Monday. People stopped watching. The biggest thing I've learned in listed is to keep an eye because stocks that double can double just as fast. So it's already set a range from about 9 to 18. So that sets the next range for wherever it breaks out. We say 16 to go to possibly 25, 26, 27. And it's not a guarantee, but the best success rate I have in listed is keeping an eye on recent runners for them to run again. And there's always a chance. So, but if it goes back to 10, we also aren't in it, and then you just do nothing. So it's pretty cool. It's a win-win.
Yeah, that's a great point. And we did catch this on the upside. So it was really nice. We actually already caught the breakout. And just like he was saying, it was really cool to see because on the upside, it doubled itself, just like he was saying. Once they have the potential to double themselves, they can double themselves again. And that's definitely something I didn't realize as much with these listed stocks, but that's the beauty of them. You can really grow your account if you get a hold of a good spot. Because with this stock, we took this overnight where it doubled itself pretty much from 10 to 14. And then when we took it overnight, it actually doubled itself again, pretty much almost not doubled, but 50% more, from 14 cents all the way to 18 cents. So like you're making like that's like this is like almost a 40% move. This is almost like a 40% move back
Right.
to back. So it's like amazing the potential on these. And like he's saying, it's not over yet because now it's holding. Everything that spikes up in the market usually comes right back down. And this has not. It's completely held itself. So now you got to think that if it does go up, like he's saying, why can't it have another 40% day? So
Right.
I like this one. This is definitely a great one to have on the watchers. One that I've been watching and I've been bringing it up to you, but you've also been saying that it has to have the volume is ANY. ANY is one that I've like, I mean, you could see it has huge spikes in the past. So when I zoom in to look at the year and the day, um, it's just creating this range, I would say, between 60 cents, which is a little wide. That's not why I'm the biggest fan of it. It's kind of created a range between 60 and 85. But the past week now is between 70 and 80. So it's kind of closing up, I would say, slowly. And if we can get a big volume day, which it hasn't really got, I mean, this day kind of showed its potential, but it never broke. But I think if we can get a big volume day, we might be able to go with this one.
Yeah, that's fine. You gotta think like what can cause the big volume day too, because that's where you want to be. So I think a big breakout would cause a huge volume bar to come in. So you can just look and
Like 80 cents, maybe.
yeah, you can save yourself some time. So you see the big wick on July 8th. That just shows that when it got to 85, there's a huge seller there that's going to knock it all the way back down to 73. Like that's how much they were willing to get out as they chased it down to 73 because that's where it closed.
Mm-hmm.
And it tries to come. So now we have that info. And then it tries to perk back up. And then July 19th, July 20th, we have wicks again between 78 and 82. So that's good. So that means the seller is there now. But what's good about it is buyers are fighting back. So now it's not just dumping, it's holding 70, like you said. So that's just a clue. So you just want to keep an eye to see, okay, now we're holding a higher low. Can we get back to 80 on some volume and take care of those sellers? So if you see a big volume day and it spikes from 70 to 80 and starts going sideways and you're right near a breakout, that's when I'd want to be way more interested. You just got to wait. That's all.
Yeah,
Once
this
you TRH, the common thing that we're going to see in all these watch lists is they're just going to be recent runners that did a lot of abnormal volume. So a WTRH, if you look in July, just looks like it's done a lot more than it's ever done in the past. If we have to zoom way back to last October. But all that volume's up in the dollar 50, $2 range. So there's no overhead resistance that would really concern me. And then that's a good one where we've settled with a lot of the sellers. So there was a huge red day on the 14th. That was super weak. It went from 33 all the way down to 23. And what we've done was on the 20th, we were able to recover that. And then instead of getting knocked back down, we started to hold again. So now we're holding the 20s and we're getting back into the 30s. But we're still way off 45. But you're seeing how it's starting to develop. So this is just one you just want to keep an eye on to maybe have a nice first green day to 40, 41, and then a red day. And then you're right in that striking distance of 45. And then just as fast as it went, 15 to 45, there's no reason it can't go based on the daily 45 to 70, 80, 90. I don't see why not. So, but like I said, there's no guarantee. You're just keeping an eye on what was moving before. So when people forget about them, that's when they run, and then everyone's late to the party. So
next one I got is one that's it's made multiple green days before, and honestly, it's one that's not going to make you probably a lot of money on the upside. But this is probably one that you can might take overnight. I mean, a lot of these listed stocks, we're not the biggest fans of taking overnight and swinging them. But with this one, it's coming. It's showed potential of multiple green days on the uptrend, and now it's coming all the way back down to this long-term support that it's held 3 times. So if it comes back down to 3 and hold it, I would say maybe potential of a potential turnaround and then first green day play
yeah,
and our I've been watching this one for a while now, so I kind of understand the feel of it. We had it on the weekly watchers for a first red day short, actually up here a little bit back.
Oh,
But now we're checking out the first green day.
cool.
Yeah. You got another one?
So I would have said FFIE again.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that if you think it's still in
Still
play.
hasn't had the first official green day. So
Nice.
you can use, yeah, I mean, you can use that spike as a guide now. So it's from 195 to 315. And if it starts to hold support and build a level, maybe the 240s, 250s, 260s, there's no reason this can't have a real first green day to 4. But we need to understand it's not going to go break out again. This is well off breakout levels. We're just take advantage of some shorts that might still be covering or that got too stubborn. And it's right near long-term support in that 160 area from way before the run started. So I'll be keeping an eye there. Just if it's still basing for a day or for an hour on Monday morning, I mean, that's pretty good risk reward. You have anywhere from $2 to $9 to make money, or from $2 to 8. So even if you get 2 to 240, that's still 20% on your money. That's really good. And then
Yeah.
if you focus on the stocks that have all the range and all the volume, you can make some easy money pretty quick. So I'll be keeping an eye on that for another bounce.
And the next one I got on here, I had Tough Bolt, but this is a short. And I'm not the biggest fan of shorting listed stocks, to tell you the truth. OTC stocks for green days, I love to go slam a short. Listed stocks, I've been squeezed out before, really fucking bad. From fuel cell. I'll never forget fuel cell ever. So fuck fuel cell. And since that happened, I'll always be nervous about it. But if you look at Tough Bolt, I mean, maybe if I don't catch the first red day, maybe we get a panic or an FFI move, you know. So I think this one is one to keep an eye on because, like you were saying, it just had a huge run. Now what can it do? You know, 2 to 10 or 2 to 930. If we can start to panic, fall back down, maybe we'll get a panic dip buy. Or if we reject at 10, maybe we can get a first red day short. I would say there's two kind of ops there.
These definitely the charts you want to be watching for shorts. I know a lot of people have tried to short this thing and have already gotten kind of blown out. So you just walk with caution. That's the reason it just keeps going up. Is people short, smoke, smoke, smoke. So that's the bid. But I mean, why wouldn't you short it? It's gone from what, $2-3 up to $9. Like I would hope you're trying to short it, but I don't know. Just be patient for some weakness and then some lower highs, and then you never know. It's not my specialty.
That's pretty much all I got there. You got any more stocks on that list?
That's enough. You don't want to overkill yourself either. You're gonna be able to watch these clean.
Great point there. Great point there. Well, guys, we are here to tag your guy or to help you guys tag bags. I'm Sniper Mike down in Fort Lauderdale. My man Strati up in Boston.